and ranching neighbor. And welcome back to Down on the Farm, the Christmas Eve Day edition of our program. We appreciate you joining us. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you. Thanks for coming down that pecan tree lined lane this morning to have breakfast with old Hop Sing and I. He's got plenty of pure pork sausage. He's got peppered bacon. He has Nanny's yeast rolls, any type of egg you want. I like mine fried and runny. I think some of you like yours that way too. And he's got plenty of jalapeno gravy, glass of iced tea, or a cup of coffee, whichever you prefer. Neighbor, let's take a look at ag weather within this National Weather Service region that'll be occupied by places like Abilene or San Angelo, Ozona, Sonora, Junction, and Mason. Of course, today we could see record heat. We'll have plenty of wind, southwest winds 15 to 25, gusting 30 to 35. Abilene, you're looking for an 88. San Angelo, an 86. Ozona, Sonora, 81s. Junction, 81. Mason, we'll call you 83. Christmas Day, record-breaking temperatures expected. 83 in Abilene, 85 in San Angelo, 84 in Ozona, 84 in Sonora, 87 in Junction, and 87 in Mason. And then as we look toward Sunday, we will see record-breaking temperatures again. 87 in Abilene, 85 in San Angelo, 79 in Ozona, and 80 in Sonora, 83 in Junction, and 83 in Mason. So, neighbor, I think if Santa Claus is headed this way, he might want to dress warm when he's up in the air in that sleigh with those reindeer, but he's going to have to shed it down to shirt sleeves and shorts by the time he gets down to the ground to bring toys to your house. McCoys.com. McCoys wants to be your source for farm and ranch equipment and supplies specifically suited to your operation. Are you designing a horse farm or a new cattle handling facility? How about your 4-H or FFA project pins? McCoy's Farm and Ranch Specialist, Cliff Mullinex, can help. Contact your local McCoy's store at McCoys.com and find out how to get Cliff out to the farm today. That's www.mccoys.com. Neighbor, I tell you what, let's take a look at grain commodity movement from yesterday. We'll consult bar chart and their commodity commentary. Now, for the last trade day of the week, corn rallied an extra 3 1/4 to 3.5 cents higher at the bell. That March corn contract 605 3/4, up 3 1/4. Now for sorghum, which is important to this portion of the state and nation, the FAS reported 422,078 metric tons booked. That was up from the 332,000 metric tons last week and just 64,000 during the same week last year. Milo commitments were 5.1 million metric tons as of the 16th, which is 1.2% above last year. Quite a bit of that went to Mexico, but the bulk of it went to the communist Chinese, of course. As we look toward beans going into the holiday weekend, bean futures were 3 1/4 to 7 1/4 cents in the black. Taking a look at the meal, it closed $1.60 to $3.30 per ton in the black. The beans themselves, January closed at $13.32, up 3 1/4. As we look toward wheat, neighbor, we see that Chicago wheat faded into the close, ending fractionally mixed. KC closed 5 1/4 to 7 3/4 higher. That March Chicago contract, it's 8.14 3/4, up 3/4. March Kansas City was 8.61 1/2, up 7 3/4. As we look to cotton, at the closing bell, futures were off their highs, but still 25 to 40 points stronger. Weekly export sales, 243,913 running bales. The daily spot report says 23,959. The classing office counted 164,123 of upland cotton. The Cotlook A index, 185 points higher at 120.20, and the AWP was up 146 at 96.27. Neighbor, let's look toward our meats. Looks like the national pork carcass cutout value, 91.47. That was 680 higher. The week's hog slaughter, 1.885 million head through Thursday. Lean hogs faded, a 5 to a 42 cent loss. February closed at 83.22, down 12.5. As we look toward the beef side of the equation, neighbor, looks like wholesale prices $1 higher on the choice and $2.12 higher on the select. Weekly slaughter looks like about 478,000 head. Now that choice select spread, neighbor, is only $9.99, and that's the lowest I've seen it in quite some time. Front month live cattle futures had triple-digit gains. Deese live cattle 137.05, up 130, and the January feeders were 163.45, up 167. Neighbor, there's a look at your commodities and your movement. Neighbor, with preferred cattle chutes, hay rings, corral panels, and more, McCoy's is ready to become your farm and ranch outfitter. Visit the McCoy stores in this region. I know they've got them in San Angelo. I know they've got them in Abilene. Stores near you. Find the products you need at mccoys.com. Neighbor, are you going to be cooking this weekend? Well, remember, pets don't eat what we eat, and if they do, it could harm them. Dr. Bob Judd is here with the Texas Vet Report to tell us what, how, and why not.
When you think about the holidays and toxic foods, you always think about chocolate. And although it is toxic to dogs, there are lots of other ingredients in foods that are also toxic. Onions and garlic are very common in holiday casseroles and can be toxic to pets. The American Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Poison Control Center indicates these foods belong to the alum family and can damage the red blood cells in dogs and cats, leading to anemia. Cats are about twice as sensitive as dogs, so if a pet is observed ingesting any of these ingredients, call your veterinarian immediately. If a large amount of these foods are ingested, inducing emesis may be necessary, and giving the pet activated charcoal may tie up the toxin and decrease absorption. Some pets will require intravenous fluids and a blood transfusion to survive. Lots of folks want to feed their dogs bones, and cooked bones should never be fed to a dog as they can splinter. However, any bone you feed a pet can cause a problem. So it's really not worth the chance of possible surgery to give your dog a bone. If the pet accidentally ingests a bone, your vet can monitor the bone's progress through the intestine with x-rays to make sure it does not cause an obstruction. Bouillon cubes are also dangerous for pets as they are high in sodium and can lead to increased sodium levels and can cause gastric upset, increased water consumption, wobbling when walking, tremors, and even seizures. Lastly, baked goods are usually high in fat, and if ingested by a pet, can lead to pancreatitis, which causes gastrointestinal symptoms and abdominal pain. I'm Dr. Bob Judd. This is the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network.
Neighbor, if you're a Texas landowner, you can give back to youth this hunting season. Jessica Dommel reports in this edition of Texas Wildlife Radio. Jessica?
If you are looking for a way to give back this holiday season, there's still time. Chris Mitchell, director of the Texas Youth Hunting Program, says you can sign up to be a volunteer or a hunt master for the Texas Youth Hunting Program online. Landowners can also sign up to allow a guided youth hunt on their property.
To contact any one of us, and we then arrange a meeting with the landowner to explain TYHP completely, see their property, find out what facilities, if any, that they have and that they will let us use. We don't need them, but obviously it makes it easier to run a hunt if there is at least some facilities available. And then we set them up with the agreement that they need in order to run a hunt so that we can provide them the liability insurance that we provide all of our landowners. We have a great safety record because of our volunteers and the training that they get, but the fact that we provide liability insurance to our landowners is a great selling point for the program.
Mitchell said there's a need in East Texas.
We're looking at ways that we can increase the number of landowners in the East Texas area that would be willing to host a TYHP hunt.
He said if landowners are concerned that there's not many deer in the area, TYHP hosts hunts for other animals as well. Each year, the Texas Youth Hunting Program takes young, inexperienced hunters on their first, or one of their first, hunts with a guardian. The hunts include mentors, lodging, and meals. You can sign up as a volunteer or a landowner on the TYHP website. That is tyhp.org, tyhp.org. For the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network, I'm Jessica Domel.
Neighbor, here's a shotgun look at the grains. Corpus Milo 1228, Corpus Corn 702, Houston Wheat 923, Houston Beans 1328, Texas Cotton 27,000 bales at 105.83. That's it for Down on the Farm. Good day.